Hello everybody, this is Hammer Striker here. Today I've got the latest from Kel-Tec, at least as of the making of this video, and we're just going to do a first impressions on it. I haven't taken it to the range yet and actually tested it, but as you can see it's the PR57. And the significance of that is that it's chambered in 5.7 by 28, or a lot of times just called 5.7. That high-speed, nasty little round. Now you notice I didn't remove the magazine to show that it's clear, because you can't. The magazine is an internal magazine. There's no magazine release. So it has a 20 round internal magazine. You can do 20 plus 1, so once you load the 20 round magazine you can chamber the top one, but there is no way that you can close it without chambering a round. So you're always going to carry it with one in the pipe if you're carrying it. It does not have external safeties. The safety is integral, kind of similar to a Glock. According to Kel-Tec, it doesn't have an inertial toggle, but the way it's designed that it doesn't need it. I haven't tested that theory. It has your typical Kel-Tec block grip and kind of some interesting contours on the side slide. It's kind of a cool looking thing. It's relatively light, has a single slot Picatinny rail, and unlike the current trend these days, actually pretty nice sights. You know, white 3-dot sights, easy to see. It is an internal hammer fired gun. There's a little slot here. You can see that the hammer comes back at the last bit of firing, but the hammer doesn't really protrude. You can't thumb the hammer back. It is double action only. It has to be cycled to, it's single action only. It has to be cycled to function correctly. And other than that, it's kind of got some interesting styling. It's really light, and it's small. I mean, if sitting here looking at my hand, it looks relatively large. And I'll show you both sides of it. It looks relatively large, but it's actually not. So a typical 5.7, like this Ruger 5.7, you notice I put them next to each other. The Ruger dwarfs the Kel-Tec. And even though 5.7s often are lighter, the grips are similar size because 20 rounds of ammo takes up about the same amount of space. It's also thinner by a significant amount. So it's actually a relatively small gun as 5.7s go. And just for some kind of reference, so this is a CZ P10S, which is a 9mm gun, and you'll see that other than having a longer grip, the Kel-Tec is roughly the same size, but it's a lot lighter. So it's not a big gun, even though kind of the look of it, kind of with the thin top and everything, kind of makes it look big. It really isn't. So I set it on my hand there. And it's really light. And the 5.7 ammo is light, so it kind of in general, the whole concept of 5.7 is a very powerful round, not very big. You can get a lot in the same amount of space. 20 rounds in something that thick that normally would be like a single stack, and a lot of power. Now, here's where it gets interesting. I mentioned the internal magazine. It comes with one magazine. It's in the gun. There's no magazine release. You can, if you have a problem with the magazine or need to maintain it, you can punch this pin out and remove the components of the magazine and clean it or maintain it. But you don't change the magazines while you're using it. And it has these little stripper clip things that come from Kel-Tec. And you load them up with ammo, pointy side up, and then this little slide pushes the ammo down in there. And the way you would use this thing is you'd load it up with ammo, and kind of you see these two slots here. Rock it in, and then push the little slider down and shove the ammo down into the magazine. You do that twice, so you can preload these. This thing has a tendency to fall out when they're not loaded, but when they're loaded, of course, it would stay there. The only other kind of a quirk that I'll mention on it is it's optics ready. Comes with one plate. The plate fits on here. But there's only one red dot that I'm aware of that works with it, and it's a specific Viridian that Kel-Tec partnered with Viridian to make that is specific to this gun, and currently, at least as of the making of this video, only available on Kel-Tec's website. It's a bit of a limitation. However, Viridian does make good quality red dots, so if Viridian's the only one you can get, you're not taking a hit there. Overall, I think it's interesting. I'm looking forward to trying it at the range. Some of the limitations may influence your decision to buy the gun, but they're publicly, it's well known. So in other words, when you look at their website, the fact that it comes with an internal magazine, that's not a secret. You're going to know it. And at an MSRP of $399, the MSRP at least puts it on the lower end of the spectrum. But as typical with Kel-Tecs when they're new and they first come out, production tends to be limited. You almost can never, if you find one, you're not going to pay MSRP for it. You're going to pay more. That just seems to be the trend with them. And right now I'm seeing them well above MSRP. that usually takes a while to settle down when they become actually available. Another kind of interesting note is it uses a rotating barrel setup that should make it easier to chamber rounds more reliably and also mitigate recoil. Not that 57 has a huge amount of recoil to begin with, but it does have some unique features and unique design elements that make it kind of interesting. The muzzle's even kind of interesting looking, and these two little bumps here, these little dots, are the recoil spring assembly. So as I cycle it back, the recoil spring assembly comes back, but you see that the barrel has a set of locking lugs, kind of like an AR-15, that cause it to that operate the rotating part of it. You can see the locking lugs on it. So a lot of unique features. Hopefully it works as well as it looks from a coolness perspective. We'll find that out when we get it to the range, so look forward to the full review with all the specs, all the details, and how did it perform, and how reliable and easy to shoot well the thing ends up being. Beyond that, if you like our videos, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe, click that bell up there to be notified if you do. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Player, Rumble. We're pretty much everywhere. And thank you.